Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, second hour, kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning of March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day to those of you who celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for making us a part of your start if you are up and at it. Even though, we're a couple days removed, there are still some schools that are either delayed or closed for today. So there's a handful of them. Go to our website. Check out the WEAU 13 News school closings and delays brought to you by Hovland's and ServiceMaster. So I think especially over by Wausau, they're still trying to dig out of the dumping of snow that they got over there too. So, but man, oh man. But coming up this hour, we'll talk a little football here in just a little bit. We're going to talk some hoops as well. We talked lots of baseball in the first hour. We'll get back to some more baseball talk coming up a little bit later on. We got RJ Cardinal coming, joining in the program next hour. We'll talk some Badger hoops with him, Badger hockey and such. Don't forget to get those brackets in. Going to keep pumping that because it is a quick turnaround. So even if you're not a college hoops fan, all right, get that bracket in. Have some fun. Join in on the rest of us. Join in on the fun with the rest of us, all right? Just hit us up on the websites. Hit that Fan Cave tab, scroll down, and boom, you're right there. So... all right, let's catch up on it. And also, really quick, it is a Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what the heck is grinding your gears? Send those on over too. Also, we've got I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Fill in the blanks. Send them on over. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. And then, what is your sports confessions for the week? We've got a few messages on the chat. Zach says, what's really grinding my gears is all the negative stuff on social media platforms around the Packers' moves. No one seems to be happy or like that we got rid of certain players. Digital kind of saying the same thing. Packers adjacent, a lot of responses to the thank you posts that the Packers do are, who are we going to have playing? Or why did they let them go? And I guess that kind of feeds into an informal poll question I'm throwing out there for the rest of the Packers fans out there. When you look at the moves that Green Bay's done in the first week and change of free agency, do you think, in your opinion, and we can only base it off of the roster that we have on paper, that's all we can do it on, but do you feel like in your gut, in your bones, deep down inside, that they've gotten better, that they've improved? Do you feel like they've gotten worse? NFL.com, Eric Edholm has a power rankings based off the latest free agent moves. And, well, he's got Green Bay at 15th, moving down a couple spots, actually. And his reasoning is, quote, it has been a net migration for the Packers, who shed a lot of skin early in free agency. They watched Malik Willis, Romeo Doubs, Quay Walker, Kingsley Enagbare sign elsewhere, traded Rashawn Gary, cut Elton Jenkins without a ton coming back in return. Trading 25-year-old Colby Wooden for 29-year-old Zaire Franklin helps replace Walker, but it also makes the Packers older. Adding 33-year-old Javon Hargrave achieved the same end. They also quietly might be scouting backup quarterback options with Willis gone. He filled an important role for the Pack over the past couple seasons, and Jordan Love has only earned a certain level of trust to date. With Green Bay coming off of a gutting wild card weekend loss at Chicago, questions still over this talented but flawed team. Now, I don't disagree with everything in that write-up, but the one thing that I'm like, yeah, they may have gotten a little bit older, but at the same time, they were the last 2 years the youngest team in the league. They added Javon Hargrave to replace who? Colby Wooden? I think that's an upgrade. No offense to Colby Wooden. Colby Wooden can go on and maybe have a really good career. But right now, and this is what's grinding my gears, is this. But you're telling me that I can have the option of Colby Wooden or Javon Hargrave. Yes, Hargrave is 8 years older, but Hargrave is better. Hargrave is a better player. Hargrave is an upgrade on the defensive line. Regardless if he's older. He is better. Zaire Franklin, Quay Walker. Maybe that is a little bit of wash. Quay Walker has all the talent in the world. He is incredibly talented. He is incredibly athletic. It was just the consistency thing for Quay Walker. Now I know maybe he threw a little shade at how Green Bay used him in his presser against the Raiders. At least that's what some people think he said. I can see where people thought that. You can go watch the clip and or listen to it. I can see where people, but I guess I didn't get that impression right away. I mean, he just said, their linebackers coach, the defensive coordinator is going to put him in the right position and put him in a position to succeed in that. I don't know if it was necessarily a complete slight towards Green Bay, but I understand where some people kind of came away with that. I get it. But they got a little older. We can't sit there and say, well, this team is too young, and then all of a sudden they add a 29-year-old and a 33-year-old and go out there and say, well, now they got older. What are they doing? What? We can't have both. It can't be both. In fact, I wanted this team to get a little bit older. I wanted this team to get a little bit more, maybe mature. I wanted that to happen. And they got a couple guys to help make that happen. They're still incredibly young all across the board. Let's not forget that. Devontae Wyatt is still young. Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, those guys are entering their third year. Edrin Cooper, third year. Tucker Kraft, fourth year. Jaden Reed. The list goes on and on and on. They are young all across the board. To add a couple of guys who are at the back end or 30s, early 30s, come on. Don't use it as a negative. I think it's positive just to get a little bit more veteran experience on his team. And in fact, I want a couple more. I want a couple more guys that are veterans on this thing. I want to go a little bargain shopping here, and I want them to maybe pick up a DJ Reader still. Give me a legit 2-down, early down nose tackle that is going to help stop the run. Give me that. He's 32 years old. Bring it. I want it. You know what else I want? I want Hassan Reddick. Bring him over too. Bring him on over for a 1-year deal. What about Calais Campbell? He's 40. Oh, for goodness sake, that is going to take a major hit on our average age for this ball club. Better not do it. Do it. Now, they're not going to do all three. In fact, we'll probably be lucky if they do just one. Because then you got to factor in comp pick compensation and that sort of thing. That's probably going to be part of the plan. I don't see Green Bay doing a ton that would affect them in terms of taking away some of their comp picks and such. But if there was a chance to do a little bargain shopping here, I'm looking at those three. Why not? Give me some depth. Give me some more depth pieces on that defensive side. Hell, you want to bring in another veteran offensive lineman for some depth? I'm good with that too. Let's do a little bargain shopping at the thrift store or the secondhand store right now and get me some of these veterans on these 1-year deals to come in and bolster the depth and maybe just, provide some veteran leadership a little bit. I don't have a problem with Green Bay adding some older veterans. I don't think it should be used as a knock. Now, if you want to talk about from a talent perspective with Zaire Franklin and Quay Walker, sure, let's watch it. Let's see it play out this year. Let's see who's going to have a better season. But right now, I'm taking Javon Hargrave over Colby Wooden any day of the week. That, to me, is an upgrade. It's not a downgrade because of the 8-year age difference. Just at least in my opinion. But all right. We got to take another break here, but we'll talk some more football and such. So let's keep those comments coming. I'll try to catch up on the chat on YouTube and that, but let's take a quick break. We got hoops coming up as well. Ciao. Accidents happen, but getting back on the road shouldn't be stressful. At Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, you will find experienced technicians, quality craftsmanship, and service that you can trust. From collision repair and dent removal to full paint work and insurance coordination, they handle the details so you do not have to. They'll restore your vehicle the right way, safely, professionally, and with attention to every detail. When your vehicle needs extra care, choose a team that puts quality first. That's Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, bringing your vehicle back to life, one repair at a time. Superior Auto Body, our backyard dreams partners. I got to go to this. I got to call a little bit of an audible here because I just saw this pop up. Potential baseball rule changes that Major League Baseball is going to implement experimental minor league rule changes for 2026. If you are a baseball purist, you're probably going to vomit after I tell you some of these things here. So if you missed it, there's a bit, and I'll tell you, I just saw it during the break here. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? So this is from Fangraphs. I originally just saw it was Buster Olney kind of tweet out his article. I'm like, wait a minute. So I did some searching here. No, we were just talking some football, but I got to throw this out there to get your all's reaction to this. How about some of these? Now, these are just experimental minor league rule changes for 2026. They're not official, but there's some interesting ones here. So there was a memo. All right, over the weekends, there was a league memo, according to Fangraphs, circulating amongst baseball operations departments regarding various experimental rule changes that will be tested during the upcoming minor league season. This memo, which has not been previously reported, was sent to general managers, assistant GMs, farm directors, and player development personnel with the request that it be relayed to managers and coaches throughout the organization. So Fangraph has some excerpts below. Some of the rule changes being piloted in 2026 are aimed at augmenting the game's aesthetic, others at further increasing the pace of play. Some of them seem like they're for player development purposes only and not likely to be a future big league feature. Here's the first one. Starting pitcher re-entry. I didn't misspeak. Starting pitcher re-entry. In Arizona Complex League, Florida Complex League, and Dominican Summer League games, the starting pitcher will be permitted to re-enter a game after being removed, subject to the following restrictions. Only the starting pitcher may re-enter the game after being removed is one. Two, the removed starting pitcher may only re-enter the game at the beginning of the inning following removal and may only re-enter the game once. Third, to be eligible for re-entry, the starting pitcher must throw at least 25 pitches in the inning during which he is removed. Interesting. Now, for what it's worth, Fangraph says this is the first rule change listed in the memo, but it's also the only one that seems like it's being implemented solely with player health and development in mind and isn't being piloted for eventual big league use. Rookie ball youngsters can struggle to throw strikes, which frequently has knock-on effect on the rest of the pitching staff, and those impacts tend to snowball. It's increasingly common for complex level games to get out of hand and force position players to work an inning or two and those innings turn into unwatchable pseudo baseball with very little developmental value. Okay, so at least on this one, it sounds like, according to Fangraphs, this would not be something that would be implemented in Major League Baseball. I'm not going to go through all of them here. I'm just going to go through some of these. Looks like ABS, automated ball strike, and check swing. All right, trying to adjust it for the check swing, the 45-degree mark. Okay, wow. You know, the whole appeals to third or first, check swing sort of thing. Pitch clock changes. When the pitch clock regulations were implemented, a number of accommodations were included to help players and staff adjust to the new regulations. These accommodations have been effective. A pitch clock violation occurred just once every 5.2 games at the Major League level in 2025, but they have also been utilized more frequently over time, diminishing the intended benefits of the pitch clock in terms of both game time and action. For example, the average duration of a 9-inning game increased from 2 hours and 36 minutes in 2024 to 2 hours and 38 minutes in 2025. In addition, the success rate on the stolen base attempts have declined from 80.2% in 2023 to 77.8% in 2025. In an effort to address these trends, the following changes to the minor league pace of play game procedure will be tested during the 2026 season, with the goal of determining which changes, if any, are appropriate for the Major League level in the future. PitchCom Safe Harbor. In AAA, teams will be assessed a mound visit if play is stopped for the purpose of addressing an issue with PitchCom. If the team does not have a mound visit remaining, a pitch clock violation will be assessed, at which point the team will have an opportunity to address the issue while the pitch clock is turned off. Defensive signals. At all levels, the clock will no longer stop and reset when the catcher leaves his position to give defensive signals. If the catcher is unable to return to the catcher's box with at least 9 seconds remaining on the clock, a pitch clock violation will be assessed. Mound visits. At all levels, mound conferences must end, and all coaches and players, other than the pitcher, must be off the dirt of the mound and moving towards their positions or the dugout before the mound visit clock reaches 0. Failure to comply to these requirements will result in a pitch clock violation. Batter timeouts. AA and AAA. When a batter requests time, the home plate umpire will grant time, point at the batter, then immediately reset the pitch clock. Batters must return to the batter's box and become alert to the pitcher before the clock reaches 8 seconds. There's more to that, too. Disengagement limit. In AA, the disengagement limit will be reduced from 2 to 1. When there are runners on the base, pitchers may pick off or step off once during a plate appearance without penalty. If they disengage a second time and all runners return safely, time will be called and all runners will be advanced 1 base. Ooh. All right. Now, here's the big one. Positioning of second base. Get ready for this. To encourage more action on the bases in the International League, second base will be placed entirely within the perimeter of the infield diamond during the second half. This change will decrease the distance between first base and second base, and the distance between second base and third base by approximately 9 inches, i.e. double the change achieved by increasing the size of the bases from 15 inches to 18 inches. Major League Baseball will work with groundskeepers in the International League to move second base prior to the start of the second half of the 2026 season. As Fangraphs noted, there's a difference between encouraging more action on bases and implementing rules that highlight speed. I'm not sure which one people actually want, but I worry this hypothetical rule change might borrow from one to serve the other. The difference between fast and slow players is magnified over greater distances. To score from first on a double requires breathtaking speed. Reduce the distance between bases, and that becomes less true. if we continue contracting the distance between bases, eventually we get to a point where speed becomes moot. What do you think about that? Moving the second base to, all right. That one is, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. That to me is, I don't think I like that one. I know that's a lot to break down. That's a lot to go over. Paul says, oh my God, no. Either go with ABS or not. I don't like it, but just do it already. This challenge stuff is annoying. This is grinding my gears. Don't mess with baseball. All right. Now again, these are just experimental stuff, but the fact that they're experimenting with some of the stuff, to me at least, tells me there's a thought, or at least there is a possibility that they could implement those. What are your thoughts on it? All right. Hit me up with the text, or hit me up on that Shoe Doctors, or on that Section 105 video chat. We'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more. Looking for a great night out in Eau Claire? Well, then you need to head to the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. Come for the food. Stay for the atmosphere. From crowd favorite fish fries to burgers, sandwiches, and daily specials, there's always something hot and delicious coming out of the kitchen. And it's not just about the menu. With live music, themed parties, community events, and something new happening all the time, VFW Post 305 is where friends meet and good times happen. Great food, friendly faces, always something going on. That's the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire, your neighborhood spot for a night well spent. Don't forget, we will be over at the VFW Post 305, located on Star Avenue, for Friday's show. Be over there for a little hoops skip day action, and then starting at 11, from 11 to 3. That's when the fun really begins. We'll have some free beverages, some prize giveaways and such. So if you're looking for somewhere to hang out on Friday, to watch some basketball, stop on over to the VFW Post 305, 1300 Star Avenue in Eau Claire. A lot of you chiming in right now, not too keen on the potential baseball, let's just say, experimental rules. And a lot of you kind of chiming in on that second base one. So I hear you. That one, because, okay, I get it that maybe you want to increase scoring or stolen bases and such, but man, I don't think that's the way to do it. I don't like it. I think we're tinkering a little bit too much with this thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. Anybody that does, please, because right now I haven't gotten anybody that's chimed in and said that they like it. But if you do, please feel free to let me know. Maybe you're like, hey, I want more scoring. I don't like 1-0 games, or 2-1 games, or scoreless games heading into the ninth, or something like that. So for example, let's say that's implemented, and that's a rule change where they shift second base. You go back to that World Baseball Classic game, Team USA versus, was it Dominican Republic, right? Yeah. When Judge threw out Fernando Tatis, there's the difference. That's a great play from throwing from right field. Dude who's chugging along has got some great speed in Tatis. You have to make the perfect throw. You have to make that perfect throw to get the guy out, and it was a perfect throw. Now you're kind of taking that away a little bit. And you're taking away that play, that potential of that play. Because he's probably safe if that rule change is implemented where it's closer. He's safe. But then you're taking away plays like that. Like great plays. I don't like it. Now I get it. Maybe, okay, then you're like, we can open up a can of worms here and say, well, if ball was hit 9 inches shorter or something like that, play was 9 inches closer, he'd still be. Now we're getting into now we're nitpicking that sort of thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. That to me is no, thank you. Not for me. But hey, if you do, I'd love to hear why. Just give me your reason. Maybe I'm missing something here. I get it from maybe trying to put up more runs and change of pace play and all that. But I mean, at a certain point, isn't just the game is what it is, regardless of the sport, whether it's football, whether it's basketball or baseball or golf. Isn't it just, I mean, it is what it is in terms of pace of play, in terms of how fast these games can get over with. It is what it is. I don't want to get to the point where we're trying to increase the pace of play for so many of our games where it's like, holy crap, we're under 2 hours from now. That game's got over with and done right away. I mean, I'm all about trying to maximize the most out of your day and trying to get a lot of stuff done and all that. But I mean, I don't want it to affect the games that we love, the sports that we love. I don't want it to be like, okay, this is what's the point of this? I don't want it to ruin the integrity. I don't want it to ruin some of these games. Yeah, I get it. A lot of baseball games, those extra inning games, they can drag on. They could go a long time. 16, 17, 18 inning games. They can just drag. And I know, like, sometimes you're just like, okay, can we just get a hit so we can get this thing over with? I understand, but I feel like that's in the minority. And I feel like that's just part of the game at times. That's what you get. That's part of the integrity of the game. That's I mean, I feel like if we tried to change rules so much in terms of pace of play, in terms of, hey, let's hurry up and get these games over with and wrapped up and done and all that, we're going to tarnish some of these games. And I think we just got to get in the mindset, this is what it is. It is what it is. A game is going to take 2.5 hours. A football game is going to take 3 hours. That's what it's going to take. A basketball game, maybe 48 minutes on the clock, but you know what? It's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours. Deal with it. We've dealt with it for how many years? And I get it. We're in a busy society where we want to accomplish so much in 24 hours. But if we have a true passion for and an appreciation for our games, for our sports, we could take a couple hours and just chill out and relax. I mean, a lot of us, sports is our outlet. Sports is our way of, watching games and such. It's our way to just maybe get away from the hustle and bustle and the stress of the real world. I wouldn't have a problem 3 hours at a ballpark, kicking back, relaxing, with a brewski in my hand and watching some baseball. That's my escape. That's a lot of our escapes. I don't want to hurry that up now. I don't want to be in the whole, all right, get in, hurry up, grab a beverage because pace of play. We're going to have to cut off, sales in the third inning. We got to get this thing going. Then I'm going to get stressed and rushed, and I don't want that when it comes to my games, to my sports, to the games that I grew up loving and still appreciate. I don't want that to happen. I mean, I've got stuff to do too, and there's other stuff to do, but not at the cost of the integrity of the game, not at the cost of ruining the game. I think you can do certain things to increase the pace of play, but there's also a fine line where you do too much. Don't let it ruin that game. Don't let it ruin it. That's what I'm worried about. Baseball. Don't tinker with it too much. Just don't. Don't make it too cute. Don't make this too cute. Baseball is, I think, one of the. Would you argue, if you're a sports fan, let's take the four main sports out there, the four big ones, okay? Baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. Would you argue that baseball is the one sport that you just can't get too cute with all the rule changes? Because I feel like baseball for the longest time, I mean, that was a sport. Yeah, you tinkered with some different rules here and there. Maybe you moved the pitching mound and all that. But really, when you compare, like, for instance, football in the NFL and how much that game has changed throughout its history from never throwing to now it's an aerial assault. Even basketball, you got the three-point shot and all that. But baseball, I feel like for the longest time, the core of the game was the same. The essence of the game was the same. And now I feel like in the last few years, there's been a lot of people that want to kind of maybe change the essence of that game and alter it a little bit. And I feel like if there's one sport to not tinker with it too much, where you get away from the essence of it, I feel like that's baseball more than the other three. Like basketball, I don't know how much you can do to, if there was an issue of, and I really haven't heard about it too much, I don't think. I don't know in basketball what you can really do in terms of changing or getting these games over with quicker or increasing the pace of play, maybe not having, clock stoppages at all the time on out of bounds or whatever. I mean, that would be just, I don't know about that. Football, kind of the same thing. Challenges, yeah, you get rid of challenges. That would increase the pace of play and a lot of stuff or make it more centralized and quicker in that. But I just feel like baseball, for me at least, in my opinion, is the one sport. It's like, just let's not get too cute. I think football, a lot of the cuteness that has come with this and the overreaction from a lot of this has just made the game more complicated to officiate. It's made it more complicating to follow as a fan at times. The prime example is, what the hell is a catch anymore? Do we know what a catch is? What's pass interference? What's offensive and defensive pass interference? What exactly is holding? If there's holding on every single play, then why is it called sometimes on that one and not on that one? The big one is like, what the heck is a catch? I mean, we got to the point where we got way too cute in that thing. And now it's like, I have no idea. I thought that was a catch. My recess playing days, that'd be a catch any day of the week. But now it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's debatable. Technology has made things a lot of things awesome and great, but now when it's infiltrated the sports world and all the camera angles and all that, now it's like, ooh, that third camera view, that close-up where the ball might have shifted just a little bit, that might not be a catch anymore. It's like, holy moly. And now for baseball, we're talking about moving bases closer. We're moving them closer so we can have more stolen bases or guys going from first to home easier on a single or a double. Taking away the ability maybe for some of these guys to get outfield assists and throwing the guy out. Let's just not get so cute. For crying out loud. I just don't. All right, I'm off my soapbox for a little bit. We got to take a quick break as we start to wrap up the second hour and head into halftime. We'll be right back after these quick words. If you're looking for reliable auto service, well, you got a couple options right here in Eau Claire. With two convenient locations in Eau Claire, AJM Automotive makes it easy to get the care that your vehicle deserves, whether it's routine maintenance, some brake work, or some engine repairs, or maybe a new set of tires. Friendly experts, honest advice, quality service that gets you back on the road safely. If you want some more details, like on services, hours, maybe some specials and such, make sure you're following their Facebook page. But you could also check out their website at ajmautomotiveservices.com. We got about 9 minutes to the top of the hour. We got Paul chiming in and saying, Yes, I agree. So much don't mess with baseball. I think we are trying to get fans that don't like baseball anyway. I know the NFL is boss, but either you like baseball or you don't. Isn't it interesting, though, too? I was kind of thinking about this during the break. When we're younger, when we're kids, what's like the first organized sport that we play? It's usually like t-ball or baseball, Little League. Right? I mean, that's where we're at. And maybe it's changed, but I know it's the same for my kid. It was the first organized sport that he played. I mean, you got a lot of Little League, youth leagues, and such when it comes to baseball. Basketball, you're probably playing maybe a little Y, Parks and Rec until you get a little bit older, and then you got like travel ball and such. Same with maybe flag football and that. But baseball, there's a lot of options, T-ball, different leagues and such. So this is like, for a lot of us, it's our first introduction to the sports world, for I guess maybe for more of a team concept, because now you got golf, you got tennis, you got a lot of these individual sports that you could go out there and do. But you look at baseball and the point that Paul is making. So here's the thing, like baseball, I think, has the advantage in terms of gaining that interest from a younger fan base early on, from younger fans. I think they've got that edge because they're the first one. I think the question, though, is how do you keep that interest? Kind of what Paul was saying there. How do you keep that interest alive and that passion alive and that love for the game alive with these younger fans as they get older? Is that the question at hand? Is that the question? Like Paul said, either you like baseball or you don't. If it still is the first introduction to the sports world, our first sport to play as kids on a team sport that we play as a kid, how do we keep that interest? How do we keep that love of the game alive for these kids so they want to continue to play it, or maybe they want to continue to be fans of it? Maybe for some kids, it's not enough action for them. I'm tired of standing in the outfield because the ball doesn't get hit to me. I'm tired of, only getting 2 at-bats a game. It's boring. Is that it? How do we change that? How do we address that? If you're in the baseball world, how do you make it more exciting? How do you make it more involved for a lot of these younger players? Is that the question at hand? Because there's no question. I mean, you look at it, football, there's a lot of, back and forth action. Basketball, you're going back and forth. Hockey, the same thing. There's constant action. Baseball, not always, not necessarily. It's interesting, though, too, because the one position that you're probably most active besides pitcher, but the one position that you're probably constantly moving around or doing something is catcher. But I don't know about a lot of you. My kid does not want to play catcher. And just coaching Little League, a lot of kids don't want to play catcher. And I think it's just because they're too nervous, maybe a little scared, behind the dish there, putting on all that gear. But it's like, you want to be active, you want to be participating a lot, moving around a lot. The best position might be catcher. And it's ironic because my kid's favorite player for the last couple of years and still is a catcher. It's Contreras for the Brewers, but he does not want to play catcher. He gets too nervous when he does have to suit up and play catcher. So maybe that's the thing. I don't know, but it is kind of interesting. It's like baseball's our first, like I feel like baseball's got the advantage for younger kids to go out there and, we talk about first impressions. Baseball gets that chance to make that first impression for a team sport for a lot of youngsters, whether it's at that T-ball level or maybe it is coach pitch or something like that. It's just now, how do you keep that interest within those youngsters? How do you make them want to continue to keep playing? A lot of it's on youth coaches. A lot of it's on parents. And we're in a world now, too, where there's a lot of other opportunities to try different sports and try different activities. And eventually, after bunch of, if you're a kiddo or you're a youngster and you try a bunch, you naturally gravitate towards one sport. It's just, that's the way it is too. But I think, yeah, baseball's trying to maybe find some of the younger fans or trying to recruit some more fans. And what's one way to do it? Hey, offense, right? Everybody loves it when teams score points or score runs. Football, let's throw the ball around and score as many touchdowns as possible. Basketball, nobody wants to see low-scoring games. That's not what gets the crowd pumped up. It's a big three-point shot or a slam dunk. Hockey, we want to see goals. We want to see the lights going off. Same in baseball. Chicks dig the long ball. We want to see home runs. We want to see exciting plays at the plate and runs scored. That's the basis of it all for a lot of these rule changes, regardless of the sport. How are you drawing attention of a lot of fans right now? Or how do you get that attention from a lot of fans? Let's put up some points. Let's put up some runs. Offense is what generates interest. Offense is what sells tickets. Offense is what gets people to buy into it. That's what it is. And then once you're into it, then you kind of maybe understand the game a little bit more and you get into it a little bit more and all that. But to get that interest in from fans, offense is the name of the game. All right, let's well, we only got a couple minutes left to the top. So coming up next hour, we're going to talk some hoops. We'll talk with RJ Cardinal and such, and we'll talk a little hockey with him too. But we'll get back to some more baseball talk. World Baseball Classic tonight. Send me your predictions. All right, you're going to go with Team Venezuela with that loaded lineup or Team USA? Who you got in tonight's final? Hit me up with your predictions. 715-830-1912. All right, so send those on over. We'll get back to some more Brewers and baseball talk throughout the, well, we got 2 more hours, so we'll get back to it coming up probably the next hour and such. Also, don't forget it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday, so what is grinding your gears? You can text those on over or hit us up on the YouTube chat. Also, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, fill in the blanks, best ones we'll read up on the air. And if you have any sports confessions for our Confession Tuesday, you can send those on over as well. So, all right, shot clock's about 10 seconds away. We're approaching halftime. Let's regroup. All right. Regroup. Head into halftime. Do our adjustments. Finish this thing strong, right? You know the drill. You know it.